Okay, so it's now Saturday afternoon, and I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about, my experience so far, vlogging for the one day that I vlogged. um, yeah, I just want to kind of talk to you about some things that I was experiencing yesterday and how I kind of work through that. And hopefully, if any of you are going through the same thing, like you're starting something new and you're struggling with that, then hopefully what I'm about to share will be helpful to you. So it's been a complete roller coaster of emotions. Like yesterday, I was on such a high. Like I started filming and I was on such a high. I wasn't even nervous, like filming in public. I thought I would be. I mean, I didn't do that much, but it didn't feel like I thought it would. And I got home and I was so excited. And then a few hours later, I seriously started to panic. I wouldn't say I had a full-on panic attack, but I really started to feel uncomfortable and just questioning everything, questioning like, what am I doing? What if so-and-so sees it? Do I really want to put myself out there? Do I really want to expose myself on the internet? Do I really want to open myself up? Do I want to open my space, share my space? Am I strong enough to handle criticism? Like, what if it's not well received? People on the internet can be so mean. Like every thought that you can think of, I had it yesterday. And I got really close to just being like, okay, no, this is not for me. I'm not doing this. And it's not like I'm completely over it. But what happened was I recognized what was happening and I had a decision to make. Am I going to be somebody that just succumbs to fear and gives up? Or am I somebody who works through that? And there are a few things, I'm going to share 3 things with you that kind of helped me work through it. But yeah, yesterday was difficult. And even talking about it now, you can probably hear in my voice, like I'm still a little bit affected by it. But I'm really pleased that I decided to continue. And the thing is, I know that all of this, it won't last. So that's the first thing, just recognizing that emotions are temporary. So that's not one of the 3 things I'm going to say. I just thought of this now. But yeah, just recognizing that emotions are temporary and just not making decisions in that moment when your emotions are heightened and you're not thinking clearly. It was literally like a stress response. Like I realized quite early on that it was my ego talking, so we always hear about the ego versus the higher self. And I'm just really pleased that I was able to recognize that it was my ego, because it was just so obvious. I was frantic. The higher self kind of talks to you from a calm, loving perspective. It's almost like a comforting voice. But what I was feeling yesterday, the voices in my head, it was literally so frantic. It was like, you need to stop, you can't do this. I was in a panic. And I just had to recognize that. And one thing I do want to say when I talk about the ego versus the higher self, I think the ego gets a lot of bad rep, and people think, oh, the ego is like this evil thing, you just need to silence your ego. And I don't believe that at all. I think the ego is definitely useful. It's there to protect us. It's the same thing that stops us from running across the street without looking. It's there to protect us. But the important thing to realize is that the ego doesn't always have all the information. The ego basically thinks that anything that is new is a threat. It thinks anything that is outside of your comfort zone is something that will cause you pain or cause you harm. And so it wants to stop you from doing that. And that's rooted in when we lived in the wild, and if you were ostracized or if you were judged by the community, it meant you would die. And I think we just have to remind ourselves that we no longer live in that world. And even if I was to put myself out there and it was badly received, even if I got lots of hate from people on the internet, I'm not going to die from that. It's not that big of a deal. And so it's really important to kind of come from a higher place, use your higher self to kind of assess the situation, consider everything, and realize this isn't something that's dangerous. We might think so because it's new, because it's out of our comfort zone, but actually it's an opportunity to grow. Without doing something new, we can't experience new things, So if I was to stay the same and to not vlog, I already know the outcome. I would continue as I was, nothing will change. But like, I'm not here for that. Like, I want the growth. I want to experience new things. I want to impact people. And so the only way I'm going to do that is by going outside of my comfort zone. It's by doing something different. And so I just had to kind of talk to my ego yesterday in a loving way, and just to say, you know, these fears, they're valid. Like, I am doing something new. I am putting myself in effectively a vulnerable position. And so it's good. It's actually good to think about that. It's good to not dive into something naively, but also it's good to have perspective, and it's good to realize that there's also opportunities there, and to think about, you know, what you want long term. And like I said, I'm here to grow. I'm here to hopefully inspire other people. And the only way I'm going to do that is by putting my ego to the side and embracing new things, you know? So the second thing is, and this is something that we often hear a lot, and something that I always say to people as well, one way to kind of stay motivated is to make sure that you have like a bigger mission behind something than just yourself. Like, make sure it's bigger than you, because we can often run out of motivation. Like, motivation doesn't last forever. And when you have a bigger purpose, a bigger reason for doing something, that is often what keeps you going. So for instance, yesterday, I'll touch on it again, one of the things that I had to remind myself is, this is not just about me. Of course it's about me in one sense, but it's also like, my goal is, I really want to inspire. I've experienced lots of things in my life, and I really feel like I've learned a lot, and there are definitely things that I can share with other people who are going through the same thing, who, you know, this can help somebody else. And I learned so much from watching YouTube videos, and it's helped me along my journey, and that's actually what's inspired me to start my own channel and to share what I've learned and share my message. And I know that there will definitely be people that will be inspired by that, and it will definitely help someone. And so that's my mission. You know, I had to remember that yesterday. So when I wanted to give up, when I wanted to literally like hide, I had to remember that, like, this is not just about you, this is bigger than you. And if you stop now, not only are you robbing yourself of growth and experiences, but you're also robbing that person who is meant to be impacted by you, that person who is waiting for the information that you're sharing, that person who would be really touched by a video. Like, you're robbing them of that experience as well if you don't share. And so the last thing is, and this is something that has been going around on the internet for quite a while now. It's something that I'll definitely do a complete video on, and it's this idea of being the main character of your life. But it's funny, like, even though I've seen this going around for a long time, I don't think I really, like, it didn't resonate with me. I just didn't get it. But I definitely got it yesterday because I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, okay, so I went with the fears that I was having. Like, I played out this scenario in my head. I was like, okay, if I stop because I'm worried about what this person might think or what this person might say, I'm letting them dictate my life without them even knowing. Like, that's ridiculous. When you think about it, that's absolutely ridiculous. And I really had to embody this, like, idea of being the main character of your life and you calling the shots. Like, I'm not gonna let somebody else call the shots. I'm not gonna let somebody else run the show, because this is my life. And, you know, they are the main character in their life, but I need to be the main character in my life. And so I need to make decisions. I need to call the shots. And so I can't care, like, about someone's opinion. Like, I can't care what someone else might think, because it's not relevant. And I had to just put those thoughts aside yesterday. And I'm really glad that I did. So hopefully this was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.